Mother said you guys were good today, so I can read you a story tonight. Okay, Song of the Spirit. Early one evening, Harry Henry Harris stared, and much to his surprise, you won't believe what he saw standing there right in front of his very eyes. Harry saw a tiny elf standing in the shadows by the wooden door, the kind of elf he had read about in books but had never seen before. "Now, how'd you get here, if you don't mind? Explain," Harry said to the elf, whose hair was wild as in a winter hurricane. "You may not know me, but this much is true," the tiny elf said to the old man. "I promise I certainly do know you." And before Harry Henry Harris had time to ask the elf anything more, the creature said, "Harry Harris, I am your child self." Well, the features were familiar, the face most of all. The elf looked like Harry when he was not so old or tall. "So you're a memory of myself as a very young man," Harry said. "I know memories come back to us, or at least they can." "No, I'm not just someone who visited you from the past," the elf replied. "I'm a part of you that was meant to last. Long after your youth is over and your childhood is through, the child self, you see, still remains with you. It is a past that you will always carry within, as sure as angels like to dance on the head of a pin." And then Harry saw that this little elf had wings, and he wondered and wanted to ask him so many things. "So, if you are my true child self, why, I suppose then," Harry said, "you can take me through my childhood again?" "Well, so now you expect to begin a great and wild voyage," the elf said, "to travel back through every single age?" But that was not what the elf had in mind, not one bit. Harry thought it was, but this fantasy simply did not fit. "I'm the spirit of childhood who lives today, not in the past. I'm a spirit in the present and not a walk down memory's path. Now take my hand and I'll show you a distant land where childhood's spirit lives, and then you'll understand." And so Harry took the spirit's hand, and seconds later he saw hundreds of children come rushing through the door. And the children he knew as a child, and ran and enjoyed themselves, while the spirit beckoned with a big smile on its face. But the moment Harry stepped through his own home's door, you won't believe all the incredible things that Harry saw. He saw children who ran and laughed and smiled at the sunny beach as they sang silly favorite songs, each to each, to each to each. The spirit told Harry to tell him what he saw today. "I see," Harry said, "children smiling and busy as they play." "No," said the spirit sternly, "these are not children, but the spirits within of people who know smiling is not a sin." "So then which spirit?" Harry asked. "Which one am I?" No sooner had he spoken than he heard one of the spirits cry. Now, I don't know if you have ever heard a spirit's sorrow, but its tears are big as rivers that flow from here through tomorrow. Soon the spirit, like a child, shifted from tears to joy, for sadness sometimes is one small step to pleasure for a girl or a boy. "Your spirit is not here. It is not here at all," the elf said as a spirit nearby chased a beautiful beach ball. "Some spirits, I'm afraid," the spirit said, "they simply die." "Is my spirit dead?" asked Harry with a tired tear in his eye. "Come with me now. Your spirit's not quite dead yet," the spirit said. "On your marks, get ready and get set." And then, after a sudden flash and with an uproarious roar, they were back in the same room where they had been before. And then, after another flash and after one more uproarious roar, they were in another land where Harry had never been before. Harry looked around and saw what he thought looked quite like a zoo, filled with cages where some spirits went when childhood was through. The most terrible thing Harry saw was row after row of cages of spirits that had given up or grown weary through the ages. You see, the spirit said, your childhood spirit is never gone. But this is what happens when he's not allowed to have any fun. And which of these tired spirits, which one is mine? Asked Harry as he looked from face to face for some sort of a sign. This one, the elf said at last, pointing to an empty cage. But there is no one there, said Harry, in such great dismay. And then the spirit stepped into the cage and shut the door, looking even sadder, if possible, than he ever had looked before. You see, your laughter is the one and only key, the spirit said. Only your true joy and laughter can ever set me free. And then he took the key that was all gray on gray, and the spirit tossed it, and it vanished once he threw it away. So will I ever see you again? Harry asked in the twilight's gleam. I will come to visit you, the elf said, at night, in your dreams. And with another burst of lightning and a sudden roar, Harry was back in his own home again, and once more, I won't let you down. I promise that, Harry proclaimed, in the room now as chaotic as the world after a hurricane. And the next day, Harry smiled, or at least a few times he tried. But at night, in his dreams, he saw the caged spirit as it cried. But soon, Harry learned to smile again, and he learned to laugh, and he truly felt as if he had found a long-forgotten past. And then one night, when Harry lay a pillow beneath his head, he dreamed again, and saw his child's spirit flying far instead. And the spirit flew and flew and waved to him from the sky. And Harry knew that at last he and his spirit had found true liberty. And now each night, when Harry at last goes to sleep himself, he closes his eyes and sees a smiling spirit that is himself. Good night. Sleep tight. Pleasant dreams.